Again, moving on here then to a little bit of a weaker division. I got the AFC South. So, we got three rookie quarterbacks that could potentially be playing in this division here. Uh, Last and least, I got the Texans here. CJ Stroud doesn't really have the most explosive weapons, I think, at the moment. Does have a pretty offensive line, though, with Tunsil and Shaq Mason. But there's so many question marks, I think, and just of overall skill, overall talent that they do have. A lot of promising talent, I'll add there. Has Will Anderson on the defensive end side there, and was it Petrie as well as like one of my guys, one of the best nickels in the game, I feel like. So, but yeah, just not their season. I think it will be competitive though. Like I'm not saying that the Texans, Titans, Colts, right, Jaguars. I don't. I think there's gonna be some parity in here, but I just have the Texans last in this division here. Next one up, I will say I kind of went back and forth on this, but I'm gonna have to go with the Titans here. They're only getting older. you know, will we see Will Levis, in the second half of the season? That could certainly kind of kill their record some there. Got to respect Vrabel as a coach, but aging team, solid defense still, but I just feel like there's a lot of question marks heading into the season than there was maybe in previous seasons. And yeah, having that Will Levis kind of wild card there, like I think it's going to be about time. Or there's going to be a countdown, I feel like, to when they're going to bring him in. So Will Levis, I definitely think having him in there as a rookie quarterback, maybe not going to win like all the games that he's in there, I believe. So, and then the next team I have here, Colts, actually. Rookie quarterback, Anthony Richardson, right? This should be interesting, but, they do have a new head coach. Came from the Eagles and everything, and you know what? They had I think the number one rushing attack there, and I feel like there could be some potential in terms of, utilizing Anthony Richardson, getting him rolling out, utilizing those legs, right? Like, kind of just making sure that he's actually like utilizing his strengths there, and he may not be the best passer, but he also doesn't have to be, and he does have big targets in Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce. That being said, still a rookie, and don't think that they'll, make too much of a noise in that division, but hey, finishing second, I feel like rookie quarterback. I think that's a good step in the right direction there. And then the Jaguars, I think everybody is picking them. I think Vegas has them as like one of the top favored winners for their own division, just because just a lot less question marks. Trevor Lawrence there, another season under Doug Pederson. Adding Calvin Ridley, who I think we talked about from the fantasy perspective, and then also their defense too. Another season for Trayvon Walker maybe takes the next step there. That could be something. So for me, yeah, got to go with the Jaguars. With that team, that roster, that defense. Overall, I feel like they have a pretty solid roster overall. I think both on the offensive side and also on the defensive side as well. So yeah, Jaguars number one here.
Yeah, I'll agree with you up top. I think the Jaguars easily run away with this division. I think the division is so winnable for them based on the other three teams that I see them kind of inching their way up in seeding as well in the AFC. I think I have them as like the third seed based on who they have to go against in their division. I actually think they might end up with a better record than the Bengals this year, just because the Bengals are going to kind of have to grind it out, gruel it out within their division. But I guess as far as the seeding goes below the Jaguars, who I just think based on a superior offense is going to pick every one of those teams apart. Tennessee is probably next in line for me just because their defense graded out at least through the Ringer's most recent rankings as being a top 15 defense in the league. I know Indianapolis and Houston rated pretty low down in the rankings in the 20s or so. So I guess with that, I mean, I see Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, DeAndre Hopkins as being a competent enough offense based on the competition within that division where they have enough leadership there to to at least inch out what I think the Colts and Texans are bringing this year. I think, for Houston, for one, obviously new quarterback. They're bringing a new head coach who I think will do a lot for, a young defense and kind of getting them where they need to be. But, like you were saying, with Robert Woods being maybe your top wide receiver, outside of Nico Collins, I mean, that's one thing. Dalton Schultz had an off year for the Cowboys. He comes over as well. I think it's kind of a learning year for them. I'm relying a lot on Dameon Pierce to be kind of the focal point of that offense. But I think they're gonna have their struggles for sure. And then I have Indianapolis actually at the bottom of the standings this year. I think all the juju for that team is going south. I mean, Jonathan Taylor wanting out. I think they're going to have Minshew started off, who, I think is solid as being a veteran and everything, and kind of will hand the ball to Anthony Richardson at some point. But the defense is, graded 29th in some of the rankings I've looked at. Their defensive line is kind of in shambles. I mean, Shaquille Leonard, we don't know what we're getting really anymore out of him. I know they lost Stephon Gilmore in free agency. So they're really starting to thin out, especially on defense. And, with a new quarterback who's kind of, got a rushing focus to him, you might not have Jonathan Taylor. And beyond Pittman, I don't know if like McKenzie and Alec Pierce are like next level type athletes or, playmakers in that sense. So I just have a lot of concerns there. And I do think Shane Steichen's the right guy. And I think that that'll be a good coach for them kind of moving forward and developing Richardson. I just think it's going to be like a Bears type season where you have Justin Fields, running all over the field, but you have nothing to surround him with.
Yeah, and no, that's a fair point. I think the Colts definitely are this kind of wild card of, they definitely have a rookie running back, or not running back. I mean, people will call him a running back in Anthony Richardson, right? A rookie quarterback. But I think the one thing is he has a pretty decent offensive line. He has a run-focused coach there, so, and then has some with Pittman definitely a weapon there. The Jonathan Taylor thing, yeah, that totally makes sense because he may not be with this team for too long, and I think he'll probably miss some games too. I think like the first couple games as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of question marks I think for them, but I just think that this division, maybe it's just me, I'm just kind of counting when this Titans team is gonna age out or go on a decline. It's like, bringing in DeAndre Hopkins and everything, still a talented wide receiver. I think it called for, the Bears to bring him on, but like, is he gonna be an X factor for the passing game there with the Titans, with Tannehill and such? I don't know, but Vrabel is a solid coach, so that definitely could be a thing, and especially with that defense, a lot of things could swing their way there. So yeah.
But when I put them in second place, don't get me wrong here. I think they're a 6 to 7 win team. I just think Houston and Indianapolis are going to be probably anywhere from 3 to 6 wins in that sense too. So it's like I have this being a very top heavy type division with Jacksonville up at the top. I mean, I feel like Jacksonville gets into the double digit wins. I mean,
yeah,
I don't want to say easily, but I think it's like they've got like one of the easiest paths I think into the playoffs this year.
Yeah, for sure. And there's been a lot of Trevor Lawrence hype, I guess, in terms of potentially getting an MVP. Like, I think he's like oh, you look at all the names on there. You see Mahomes, you see Jalen Hurts, Burrow, and stuff like that. And you see, oh, Trevor Lawrence. Because of that, there's a feeling that he can definitely pad up his stats a little bit, especially with adding Calvin Ridley in there too. So, and then having an awesome record. I think I have him go maybe 11-6 there, but. Yeah, there's definitely, I think, a lot of good momentum there for the Jaguars. So